Salutations and welcome to the farm.
Hey, that's my line. Oh. But yes, salutations and welcome to the farm. So we upped our egg production this year by introducing 30 new hens to the flock, and they've started giving us delicious eggs. And we need to know now what to do with all these eggs because it's just the two of us. There's only so many eggs you can pawn off on your friends and family. So we've come up with a way that we like to preserve our eggs. We've tried several different methods over the last couple of years, and if you'd like to see how water glassing and mineral oiling your eggs works, I'll put a link up above here and iCard so you can see how that worked for us. But today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing eggs that you're going to be able to freeze. They're ready to go, and you can make beautiful either scrambled eggs or egg burritos with them. So this is going to work really well. This is going to be our main way of preserving our eggs over the winter so we have them available for breakfast whenever we want. So while I'm going over the eggs, Papa Jim here is going to grate some mild cheddar cheese. Now you can use the shredded cheddar cheese that you get at the store if you want, but you know it does have kind of like a cornstarch powder coating on it so it all doesn't clump and stick together. You can use that in this recipe, it won't affect it. But today we're doing some fresh grated cheddar cheese, so Papa Jim's going to work on that while I talk to you about the eggs. Now I normally don't wash the bloom off of my eggs. I leave the bloom on, that way they are fine to stay on the counter in their little egg holder until we use them up. But for today I rinsed them off. It's been muddy the last few days because we've had storms, and I wanted to make sure there was no mud or anything on them. So I have a beautiful bounty of fresh eggs from our girls, and I'm going to set them easily over here. And you know, one thing that really gets me, and it just makes me cringe every time I see it, is I cringe whenever I see somebody take farm fresh eggs and they just crack them into a bowl, and then the next one, and then the next one. And you know, if you get an egg that has an abnormality, now you've just put that abnormality and you've, what's the word I'm looking for?
Introduced, added to, a defective egg.
You've made them yucky.
Contaminated.
So, but when you crack one egg after another into the same bowl, and you get that abnormality in an egg, now you've contaminated all of those eggs. So I highly recommend, if you have farm fresh eggs or if you buy farm fresh eggs, crack them one at a time in a little dish and then introduce them into the container that you're going to be using. I'm going to be using this little, it's a Pro Chef from Tupperware, and it's a little blender. You can use a whisk if you want to use a whisk. You can use a food processor. I like to use this little guy. Love it a lot. So let me set this where I can reach it easily, but you can still see what I'm doing. So I like to just crack my eggs one at a time into a little dish. Make sure there's no shell. Give it a good look, and then I just pop it into my little Chef Pro. So that's what we're going to be doing. So
Blend it up.
okay, here's the last one. We're going to put it in here. And I don't know, how many eggs did we get? Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
About 22.
We've got about 2 dozen. We'll just say we've got about 2 dozen in here. And now what we're going to do, and I'm going to use this to try my hands. Put my hands out here. So all of this goes out of the way. And now I've got all of my eggs in here in our little Pro Chef. And what we're going to do now is we're going to introduce a vegetable medley. So it'll be like a Denver omelet. So we have red, yellow, and green peppers and onions. And these are not from our garden. These are from the Dollar Tree. We don't like to eat a lot of the food from the Dollar Tree. We find it to be very subpar. But they're frozen veggies, they're frozen peppers. We thoroughly enjoy. Every time we go into town, we get a bag. So we're just going to add those to our eggs. And again, you can use a food processor or whatever you choose. If you're going to add veggies, chop them fine to the consistency that you like. Add the lid onto this. And then all I have to do is just give this a few quick pulls. Not pop Papa Jim in the eye with my elbow. Woo! Woo! And yeah, this takes a little elbow work, but I don't have to drag out that heavy food processor. And if we're ever at a time where we don't have any power, this is handy in a pinch. So let's see how those look. Okay, so those blended. So the eggs and the peppers and the onions have all blended up nicely, and we're ready for our next step in what we're going to do. What we have here is we have the double sealed with the little slider on the bag, quart-size bags. And what we're going to do is we are going to fill these bags with our egg concoction, a little bit of cheese, sprinkle of salt, just a little bit, and they're going to go into the freezer, and that's how they'll preserve them. Then when we want to have egg burritos or scrambled eggs or an omelet or anything in the morning, we just take them out the night before, pop them in the fridge to defrost a little bit, and then we'll show you how you cook them too.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why just no pepper, just salt? What does the salt do?
You pepper your eggs after you cook them. That's what I've been told.
Okay.
So what we have here, and Papa Jim did a great job on grating all of the cheese. Thank you, sweetie. You're going to get 1/3 of a cup. I'm going to have 2/3 of a cup. And what we're going to do is we're going to take 2/3 of a cup of our egg mixture, and we're going to put it in our baggie. Nobody said it was an easy job. It gets a little sloppy. 1/3 of a cup of cheese, and just a pinch of salt. You're going to close that. Just leave a little gap at the end of the bag here so you can squeeze the air out. You want it to be flat. And there you go. And you can mix it around a little bit if you want to before you stick it in the freezer. Get that cheese distributed evenly. But see how it makes a nice little roll? Makes a nice little, almost perfect for an egg burrito, right? We shall see. So I'm going to set this one aside. We're going to make just a couple of them, and then we're going to show you how you make them. We're going to make our breakfast burritos. We're going to eat them, and then we'll do the rest of the process. So with 2 dozen eggs, we'll probably get, I don't know how many little egg packets we're going to get. We will update at the end of the video to let you know how many we get. So again, 2/3 of a cup of our egg mixture. Now you can put chunks of meat in here if you want, little chunks of ham, chunks of bacon, whatever you want.
Sausage crumbles.
Sausage crumbles, whatever you'd like for your little egg omelet that you're going to store in the freezer. And there's our 1/3 of a cup of cheese. And with clean fingers, a little pinch of salt. I'm going to go ahead and close this up, burp out the air. Close it up there. We're going to mix that cheese into the eggs there. Now we ran out of cheese, but we have just enough egg mixture left for one more. So I'll mark this baggie to indicate that there's no cheese in this one so we know to add it later.
No cheese.
So I'll just mark on here, this one has no cheese.
Nacho cheese.
It's nacho cheese. So we know. So So since this is the very last and it's a little difficult to get out of the bottom, I'm going to ask Papa Jim to hold that for me. And we're going to try to get the very last of the eggs out of here. Look at that. Okay, a little bit on the counter, but down to the last drop. So all said and done, we got 9 packets here that we're going to be able to put in the freezer from our 2 dozen eggs. So now what you want to do is you just want to pop these in the freezer. You can decide if you want them to stay in this shape, just stand them up, maybe in a little box so they hold their form. And that way, after when they thaw out, you've got this, you can just pop them in. They make the perfect little egg burrito. Or you can lay them flat. They will defrost faster. So that is entirely up to you. We like to freeze them this way. Really, that's going to be 9 really delicious egg burritos that we're going to cook up. If you'd like to see how we make egg burritos out of these, I'll put an iCard here to show you that video. So for now, thank you so much for joining us here on the farm. We hope you enjoyed learning this way to preserve your eggs. And I've missed a part. So don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We've got lots of fun things that we do here on the farm. Lots of antics, lots of tips, some cooking, gardening, hanging out here on the farm and doing great things. So be sure you subscribe, hit your notification bell so that it tells you anytime that we upload a video. And we really appreciate you being here on the farm.
Make sure we get a thumbs up also.
Yes.
A thumbs up.
I always forget to ask, give us a thumbs up if you like this video. If you didn't like this video, don't leave a thumbs down. Just move on to the next video. There's no sense in being mean. I don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. Don't be mean.